Good morning. So, start of what should be the final day on trail, day 3. It was a strange night. I'm glad I didn't camp on the edge last night because the wind, there was some real strong gusts during the night. They seemed to come from nowhere as well. And then just a couple of hours this morning, it was quite strong wind. I know I got stuck on a mountaintop. I think it was in La Palma about 18 months ago in the middle of a windstorm, and I thought the tent was going to lift off and take me with it. So that's why I kind of shied away from camping in the wind there. Anyway, the sun's not quite up yet, but it's still nice and light. It's very peaceful now. I slept with the 2 front doors open last night, and it was beautiful. Still really warm. No rain. A few tiny little spots this morning, but nothing to worry about. Got all my stuff packed up. It's one little tip, and it goes for not just camping, but kind of hotels as well. I've always found that once you start spreading your stuff around, so you get into a hotel room and you'll put something down on a shelf, you'll put something down over there and something down over there, you're increasing the risk of like losing stuff or forgetting stuff when you're leaving. So now I always try and keep everything kind of together, that I'm not hunting around and like, oh damn, where did I put that? It's always helped me. Anyway, so I've just got the tent to pack up and the bag to pack, and then we'll be on the way. And it's already quite warm, even though it doesn't look it. It is a nice temperature. So expecting to be finished kind of early to mid-afternoon, depending on the terrain. We'll see what the trail does to us. So there we are, leaving no trace. That's where the tent was and everything. Always pick up all your trash, take everything away with you, so no one can tell that you've been there. The only thing I will say is, if you are going to come here and go camping, bring some decent tent pegs and a couple of spares. The ground is so hard, especially, it wasn't too bad the first night, but this ground here where it's really rocky and stony, I bent a tent peg, so it's unusable basically. I bent one last night trying to put it in. So make sure you've got some decent strong tent pegs and a couple of spares just in case. It's nothing worse than having all the gear and not being able to put your tent up properly. And obviously in the morning when you're packing up, make sure you pick them all up. Hey, so I've not been going long at all. Just dropped down from the little plateau where I was camped. You come down a little trail and then join onto like a concrete roadway. It alternates between concrete and dirt track. It's a good job I camped where I did, because there's nowhere else by the looks of it. As you can see, we just passed, you're kind of passing, you almost feel like you're passing through people's houses and gardens. They all sort of butt onto the roadway. A couple of dogs sat outside and things like that, and private signs up. So it looked like that was, at least for a decent amount of time, the last sort of decent wild camping spot. I believe now, just come round this little corner, I think I have to cross this dam, which will be a little bit of a novelty because I've hardly seen any water yet at all. Like I say, the ground is so hard and dry. But yeah, there's no way you could camp. You're far too close to civilization. I mean, if you were absolutely desperate, maybe. But this is almost like the LA aqueduct on the PCT. But yeah, there's the little conglomeration of houses you're coming down through. A couple of ruined ones in there, all built onto steps, rocky steps. They are very good at making use of the land they've got. You see the spillway down that side. It's quite a way up, I'll give it that. Makes for quite a nice picture, to be honest. Might just have to have a couple of photos. Well, so you can see the kind of heights that are involved on the trail, and that thing up there isn't even the highest point that you've been to either. You've been higher than that, so you know there is a lot of up and down. The little village you can see in front there, it's kind of sprawled through the valley. That is Ayagaures. You kind of just touch the outskirts of it. I don't know if there's any services there or not, but like I say, you come across one spillway, then you walk along a road and you cross back over another spillway, and then you come onto this. It's actually really nice. It's a nice wide dirt track that just gently ascends up the side of this mountain. I thought that the trail was going to take me up that side there, and I wasn't looking forward to that, but to be honest, this is pretty nice so far. It's a really nice temperature at the moment as well. So the views have kind of tailed off a little bit. I'm not saying that the views are rubbish, because they aren't, but the first couple of days you are so spoilt with some fantastic views, probably some of the best on the island, that this final day so far not been quite as impressive, but still, like I say, still nice. Not going to complain about it, just going to point it out. There's also been, just coming through the little houses and things back there at the outskirts of the village, there's a few sort of rental homes and, you know, fancier houses, as there always are, but just the occasional splash of colour from a plant sort of like trailing over a wall, and it's so pronounced when all you've seen is kind of this barren rock and a few scrub plants and things. Just to see some really bright yellows and some bright blues and pinks, and then on the other hand some olive trees, lemon trees, just a little bit more evidence of kind of cultivation and greenery. Really nice to see, actually, as I say, really nice, as opposed to all this dust you've been used to. I took my shoes off in the tent last night and there was just dust everywhere, socks were coated in it, but today has been new sock day and new underwear day. Yeah, I know how to treat myself, so I'm feeling quite chuffed about that, and I think that is the first glimpse of the sea, just down there, if I'm not mistaken, just right in the centre there. I did, in the tent last night, I didn't go to sleep till about 8:30. I was just kind of like laid, listening to a bit of music and thinking and planning out today, well, kind of planning out today. So I did book a hotel room for tonight. The thing is, Maspalomas doesn't seem like my kind of place, to be honest. It's all kind of these big resorts. Anyway, I bit the bullet and I got a little room with they all seem to have balconies as standard, or terraces or whatever. I've got a little room. I think it was about £65 for the night, breakfast included, in this resort. No doubt I'll enjoy it when I get there. Anyway, that's tonight's accommodation sorted, as long as nothing happens in the meantime. It looks like this is just starting to get a little bit steeper. I don't know if we're corkscrewing round. Looks like we could be. Oh, Looks like we're probably going up there, because there's a... Is that like a brick or stone built reinforcement into the side where the road goes? Looks like it could be. Anyway, let's have one last look down this valley. It's cool to be up at a height and see all the roads and the pipelines kind of spreading out below you, and where people have terraced some of the land that's fallen into disrepair and gone out of use. There was a ruined building just when you came off the spillway, and you could see it was long out of use, but you could see how it had changed over time. So it started off as like a little 2-room house, or barn I assume house, and then there'd been another little kind of lean-to added onto the side of it, and then at some point there'd been a big crack developed in the main building, and somebody had tried to kind of save it by plastering loads of cement over it in a really haphazard fashion. But eventually it's just fallen out of use, and now it's just sat derelict at the side of the road. The other thing that's around a lot is all these caves in these rocks. You can see they are everywhere in this landscape. Some of them, if they're actually on kind of trail level or road level, some of them have been kind of boarded off and used as storage in the past. I passed one yesterday that was kind of in the middle of nowhere really, and it was just full of trash, like empty paint tins and God knows what was in there. I didn't go too far in, but yeah. Okay, so it did get a little steeper towards the end, that climb. I said about camping spots. About halfway up the climb there is a good wide plateau where you would easily get, I saw a decent 2 or 3 at least camp spots. There's no protection there, there's no shelter, but you know, there's camping spots there. And then when you get to the top here, there's plenty of spaces you could tent up if you want to. So that's the valley that we've just climbed up the side of there, just down there, and that was leading, as we said, all the way down to the shore down there. So that rock you couldn't see before, that's just popped up in front of us. Looks like there's a little path going up to the base of it, and then just coming across, so we've kind of straddled between 2 valleys by the looks of it, and you can see it's no different from the UK. People dump rubbish in nice places, but we're heading down into another valley basically. So I'm going to guess that, I mean, it's a start. I take back what I said about the views. That's a beautiful view. It's absolutely stunning. So I'm going to guess we're heading down there where those people are going now with the little dog. It's all downhill, I believe, now from here. There might be a couple of little bits up and down, but it's nothing like I've just done. So yeah, that is some picture. It's kind of like being inside the Grand Canyon, it reminds me of. Kind of this kind of stepped down landscape. It's beautiful though. The sun's still not come through yet. It's quite cloudy, hazy. At least it is, like I say, it's a nice temperature for hiking, for walking, and it's going to help now that there's not much exertion involved. So I think I'll have a little break up here, enjoy this awesome view for a bit longer before I start heading down. This is quite cool. That trail has dropped me right down from the top where I was taking my break. It dropped right down into the bottom of this valley, and you can see walking along what I'm presuming is an old riverbed or wash channel or something. There's a decent amount of vegetation down here. can see all these kind of, I don't know what they are, cacti maybe aloe vera, I don't know, not too sure, but there's definitely plenty of vegetation. So just saw an interesting looking rock. But yeah, the trail down here it's been different to the cart track, the sort of dirt track on the way up. It was kind of like this. It was really rocky and slippy. The boulders weren't as big as this, but still you had to watch your footing. It was quite loose, and as usual it was quite steep coming down as well. So, but there is an obvious path down here to follow, cut through, so that's a good thing. Like I said a little while back, the signage for the trail hasn't been great. Definitely not the last 15 kilometres or so. You do need either good map reading skills and a good map with some detail on it, or I would suggest getting this Komoot app, which I think is a free app. Don't take my word for it, but I'm pretty certain it's a free app to download, and then find the GPX file somewhere online. I can't remember where I found mine. It was on somebody's blog, I think. And you can download that into Komoot. And it puts on all the waymarks for you. The only thing I would say is pay the whatever it is, about £3.50 I think, to make it available offline. Because even though I've had 4G coverage on the phone for nearly all of the trail, I've been consulting the map a heck of a lot. So if you pay for it for offline use, you can stick your phone in airplane mode. That way you can still navigate, but you're saving battery. And you're also saving network charges, which I may or may not have racked up a little bit of so far, I don't know. Anyway, this is getting quite tricky to do with one hand free, so put the camera away, get the trekking poles back out, and hopefully not fall over. Hey, so still in the canyon floor. Just been looking at these huge stands of cacti. They're absolutely massive. I don't know if are they organ pipe cactus? I'm not sure of the variety, but they're everywhere when you start looking. They kind of almost merge into the rock for me, but yeah, they're all over the place. Must be getting towards the end of the canyon now. I've been down here for what seems like hours. Starting to see a few more people on trail. There was a couple I just passed a few minutes back there. There's a guy in front of me, looks like he's maybe been collecting cactus fruit or something. He's been at the side of the trail with the carrier bag anyway. If yesterday was the knee breaker coming down that downhill, this morning has definitely been the ankle breaker. It's so hard going. This is the easier stuff, this kind of stuff here, but it's been a good couple of kilometres where you're kind of hopping across loose stuff that's bigger than that, kind of boulder size. It's been really, really difficult, and it's really hard going on your feet. Like I say, my ankles are really feeling it now. And my feet, see there, you take your mind off it and you slip. I was wondering what that big thing was over there. What is it? There's vehicle tracks up here. Is it a piece of rock? Ah yeah, piece of rock. It was just a really weird colour. So yeah, be prepared. This canyon, you may think it's a straight shot and nice and easy back down to Maspalomas, but it's far from it. It is mostly on the flat or slightly downhill, but as I say, really tough going on the feet. I think if anybody was thinking about doing the trail and thinking, oh, you know what, I think I'll start at the south and head north, then the only good thing I would say about that is you're leaving the best scenery till last. Everything else is a bad idea. You're starting with some really nasty climbs and then losing all the elevation you just gained and then going back up again 2 or 3 times at least. Whereas if you're doing it north to south, the way I've done it, you have one huge climb to start with, and then after that, yeah, you've got a few in there, but it's been nothing like the last section where it's just been all up and down. Walking on this stuff, it makes you feel like you're drunk. You're just all over the place. The breeze has picked up a lot as well, but you can still see in the hillside all these kind of caves dotted around in the volcanic rock everywhere. It's interesting terrain, definitely. I think I'll be stopping shortly to take on board some more water. If I'm getting closer to town, there's no point in rationing it out. I should be hopefully coming up to a little bit of a view around this court. Oh, that's a bit, I tell you. There's been, just in case you're wanting to know about camping, there's not been a great deal of places, but every now and then you come across something like that where you could theoretically put a tent. It is right next to the trail. I don't know how often this place gets rain of any significance. You can see in places, 1 or 2 places, where it's been really muddy and it's dried out, but I certainly wouldn't like to be camped down here if there was any chance of a flash flood coming down, because you would be a goner. You wouldn't be getting out of that. Anyway, it's almost break time, so I'll get some water out. Alright, good morning again. So I've just come from the canyon in there. I'm feeling quite disheartened because it's only half a kilometre or so, but you come out of this beautiful canyon we're walking down. There's nobody around, no trash. Slowly the piles of trash start to build up, obviously like builders going out and dumping stuff. And then you join the road and you just beyond the trucks there that you see parked up, you're basically just walking through one massive spoil tip, and there is just crap everywhere. You know, for a civilized country, it's just disgusting. The amount of rubbish at the side of the road, and such a massive contrast from where we've just been as well. It's terrible. I'm not too sure. I'm somewhere on the outskirts of town. Obviously there's some construction work going on here. This looks like maybe I don't know, maybe an old drive-in, some sort of car park or something, I don't know. You got one of the main highways down there in the distance. I always find this like the hardest part of the trip, coming back into civilization, especially when you've been out in the wilds, even if it is only for like 2 or 3 days. Just coming back into it, it's hard enough, but coming back in and just being confronted by this amount of rubbish, it is quite disheartening. But still, life goes on, I suppose. Anyway, I'm not too far from the end now. I'm probably only about 1 kilometre away, something like that, and it's all through town, I believe. Can't check into the hotel till 3, so I've got a good 3 hours to kill. So some of that will no doubt be taken up with eating. because I'm sick of snack bars and tuna. I know that much. Anyway, we'll press on for a bit, and then I think a little while I'll stop and put the trekking poles away. Well, that's the end. It's a rather unceremonious end. This seems to be the main kind of roundabout in Maspalomas, where my app said the trail finished. That's the last point on the app, so that's where I'm stopping. And it is everything that I hate about holidays. So, as I say, rather unceremonious, but I'm here. Made it alright. So I'm gonna get the backpack on and go and find some food. Well, I don't think I'll be coming back to Maspalomas anytime soon. Not my cup of tea. I would much rather be in the tent, to be honest, where I was last night or the night before. But still, this is me for tonight. I've got my little clothes dryer. I would have killed for one of them on the PCT. That's wicked. Anyone for tennis? Quick game of tennis, maybe? I don't know. Apparently, this is my balcony. I would call it more of a terrace, but that's what you get for choosing the cheapest ass room available. The whole town is just this kind of thing. There's a big sort of like central shopping area called the Yambo or something Yumbo. Not very nice.